What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Story Time with DJ. This episode, as you can tell by the quote that was on the first 5 seconds, is going to be on authenticity. Authenticity is so important that, especially what I'm discovering as I'm getting older, and I think this story kind of really wraps into what it is that I'm going to be talking about. So I was out dashing. I'm doing DoorDash, and it's probably around 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30 ish in the evening, and I had a goal that I needed to hit as far as money wise. So I'm focused on this goal. I know it's going to take me to about 9:30 ish to get the goal that I need to get to for the day, and I get an email from my agent saying, "Hey, we need this audition by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning." And I take a look at the audition. It's a really quick audition. It's like a commercial audition, and it's a lot of improv more than lines. And I see that they want, they want the slate, and they want a story. And the story is just kind of a quick little story about yourself. And so I start thinking of all these things that I can do for the audition, and then I start thinking about these things that I can do for the slate while I'm dashing, just so I can kind of have a good idea, because I'm going to have to do it tonight. That's what I come to the conclusion of, because I have something that I need to do early in the morning tomorrow. So by the time I wake up, I have to be out the door, because I wake up usually around 6, and I have to do a couple things before I even get out, and I won't come back until 9 in the morning. So by then the audition will be done. By then the audition will be late. So I knew I had to do it tonight, is what I'm saying. So I start coming up with ideas. I already know the story that I'm gonna tell. Like I have this super cool story that I'm gonna tell them, and it works out because I like to tell stories, as you guys can tell by this show that I'm making. And but I'm also like, I'm dashing, and over the course of time while I'm dashing, I'm thinking of the different things that I can do, and I'm starting to get really hungry, but I don't have the funds to go get something to eat, because that's why I'm out dashing, because I was saving up to get something. I don't even remember what it was, but I knew that I couldn't, for whatever reason, I could not go get something to eat while I was out dashing. So I knew that I was gonna have to eat here really quickly, because I wanted the energy to have the audition. That's what I was telling myself. Anyway, so I come back. It's 9:30, 9:45 ish when I get back to my apartment, and I hurry up and set up my audition space, which is three lights, my tripod, my camera, my microphone. Then I say, all right, let me get something to eat real quick, and I need to change, because I need to change out of the DoorDash gear, which is just regular clothes, but change into something that fits the character that I'm presenting a lot more. And I forget what the character was doing, what the person in the audition was doing. I really truly do not know. So I go ahead and make a quick little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The classic. You can't go wrong with it. It's quick. It's easy. It's light. Go ahead and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with strawberry jelly. By the way, homemade strawberry jelly. I would recommend. Make that. Eat that. Go change. Put on some clothes. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So I end up setting up the audition like I did, and I go into the slate, and I go into like this super emotional story. I'm like, well, they want a story. I'll give them a story. And I go into the story of how I was once getting in trouble all the time as a kid, got kicked out of school 3 times, and then I ended up changing my life around and making a complete 180, and end up going to college and getting averaging a 3.8 something GPA. I don't remember what it was, 3.8, whatever. But it was a super empowering story of like, I started this way and then I turned to this way. I was like, if that's not a great story, I don't know what is, right? And so after I get done telling this masterful story, I stop the tape, and I am about to go into the audition, the regular audition, which is, all the things that we need to do for whatever the improv of the scene was. And before I do that, I had the thought, let me make sure I was in frame for that story that I just told, because I would hate to get done with this audition and then need to do the story again. So I end up turning my camera around, pressing play to rewatch the audition, and I notice that on my face, on the playback, on my face, I have big ass, a big ass slab of peanut butter all in my beard and on my face. And I just start busting out laughing, and I'm like, yo, that is hilarious. Like, I had no idea that that was even there. So like in that amazing story that I was telling, I had peanut butter on my beard the whole time, noticeable. It's not even like it was hidden or like a little bead. It was like a big slab of peanut butter. And what I ended up doing, rather than getting frustrated or wiping the peanut butter off, I did wipe the peanut butter off, but rather than pretending like that never happened, I said, yo, that's funny. Not only is that funny, but it's real. Not only is it real, but it's recent. So why not tell that story as my story for the audition? And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up telling that story of, I started out with this masterful, super emotional story, and then I saw that I had peanut butter on my face. And I said, shucks. Something like that. I forget what I said, but that's the story that I ended up sending in for the audition. And I didn't end up getting the part. I know that, but how good I felt about myself that those little moments in my life was just as important as this big impactful story to me. That it just was very empowering for myself. It was very it's accepting for myself to do something like that. And I think what I've been finding for my own career and just in my life is that the more authentic I can be, the more authentically me I can be, the more empowered I am, no matter where it is that I am. So rather than sending a super emotional story, the one that I thought would really pull their heartstrings, I sent them something that made me laugh. I thought it was super funny that I had peanut butter on my face. And I sent that. And if it wasn't for them, that's okay, because it was for me. And I'm really finding that it's important to present what it is that's for you, and then you will find more people who are for you, as opposed to you seeking those who aren't for you, and then you having to be something other than you're not. Another thing about my career that I've shortly noticed is that I've been making a lot of changes. The more I've been doing these courses and these seminars, the more deeper understanding of who it is that I am and who it is that I want to be, I've been finding out. And a lot of people or a lot of things in my life have been changing. There was a job that I ended up losing, because there were certain things that were going on that I used to walk around and step around and try to avoid, as far as conversations when things were being said, and things were being said, and maybe they were not the nicest of things, and maybe just because they weren't directed towards me, or I knew something, I knew not to say something to the person, the owner, because I knew that it could possibly trigger an argument. And the more that I've been doing these seminars, and the more that I've been really getting in connection of who it is that I am, the more that it is that I started speaking up about these things and saying, hey, this is kind of where I'm at, and I would love a relationship with you, as opposed to just a transactional thing. And they would agree, but then they would fall back to the regular thing, and then we ended up just having to separate. And it's been happening like that a lot. There's even more changes that I can't really talk about right now, because it's not really full. It hasn't happened in full yet, but it's transitioning towards that, and there's certain avenues that I'm looking at. It's very vague, DJ. I know, but hey, I'm just kind of speaking here. Um, but the more authentic that I'm finding myself being, and the more that I'm craving this deep sense of authenticity, the more that the things that I used to accept, that I knew that where I was hiding myself or not speaking up about certain things, are falling out of the wayside, because once you speak up, they have the right to say something back, and that you guys may not agree. And then the only way to really salvage that, if you guys aren't willing to talk or to compromise, not even compromise, to kind of see if you guys are aligning in the same direction or have the same visions, have the same values, then it's best for those things to break up. It's funny. I just made this realization not too long ago that I've been saying, when I first started acting, I my resume, when I first started acting, when I first started out, I literally copied this guy. His name is Vonnie. He's a good friend of mine. I'm actually scheduled to talk to him not too long from now, because I have a question for him. But I literally copied his resume, his training, his theater experience. I literally copied that stuff and put it in my resume. I also used to say that I was 6'1". I'm 5'11" and 7/8, and in my mind at the time I was like, well, I'm 5'11" and 7/8. 7/8 is basically 6 feet. 6 feet is basically 6'1". I'm gonna say I'm 6'1", right? That was the logic back in the day, back in 2018. And I remember doing auditions saying this, like, hey, my name is DJ STWD. I am 6'1", from Charlotte, North Carolina. And every time I would say I was 6'1", I feel this kind of feeling of unease, dis-ease inside me. And gradually I went from 6'1" to 6 foot to back to 5'11", just over the course of like 2 years. Nobody said anything about it. I wasn't really getting booked like that. Granted, I did get booked for something, but I started changing my resume gradually too. And the thing that I compared it to, I was like, my career has been basically me unraveling who it is that I thought I should be, or who it is that I thought they wanted, and getting back to this true essence of me. And I've been having a lot more fun with it, and I've also been more focused on it. The more that I'm getting to what's important to me. And I kind of hesitate saying that because I haven't done much yet, especially not compared to what it is that I have envisioned. But I'm right now, I'm building a solid foundation right now, and that foundation has to be built on authenticity. If I build this foundation on anything other than authenticity, it's gonna crumble as soon as it has any kind of weight to it, or any kind of added thing to it. If it's not built on that foundation of authenticity, it's going to just be done. So I cannot stress enough how important I'm finding authenticity, a word that I sometimes struggle to say. My tongue just does not fall in line sometimes. How important of a role it plays, because I can't be anything other than me. My interests may change, but my values and what it is that I value, those are even changing, to be honest, because what I used to value, I'm finding is no longer serving me. But at the core essence of who I am as a person and who it is that I want to be, those don't change too much, right? And if I can attract those people who value the same things that I value, and are about growth and serving and creativity, principles of those that have very strong legs and really allow you to build something special, whether it be a relationship, a business relationship, family, whatever it is, it's all built upon that. And that's really what this story time with DJ is. It was less of a story and more of a rant on authenticity. because it's just something that it's insane the amount of times I've been faced with this in these past few weeks. And it's uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. It's very uncomfortable getting rid of relationships, not even getting rid of, but cutting off relationships and relationships ending because you're actually showing up for yourself now. You're actually showing up as who it is that you're supposed to be, or who it is that you really are, not even who you're supposed to be. Who it really is, who you really are. When you're showing up as that, it's not going to rub everybody the right way. And that's okay. It's going to rub the people that you need in your life and the people who you truly want in your life and who you need in your life. It's going to rub them the right way. And they're going to accept you. If those are the right people in your life, they're going to accept you. And if they don't, then that just means that maybe they're not the right people in your life. They're dealing with their own things right now. I'm not saying that they're bad people, but it's just one of those things where you have to give to yourself first, and then you can give to others. And if you give yourself the gift of being yourself, then you give that to other people, and you allow anybody else to be themselves. And I'm finding that there will be a lot less judgment. I'm finding that for myself, that I'm a lot less likely to judge somebody the more that I'm accepting of myself. And on that note, because I think that sounded really, really good, I'm going to end the story time with DJ. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you didn't, please let me know why. And if you did, please let me know why. I would love to hear it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. See you guys next episode.